Okay, so listen, in a world today that is driven by chaos, even right now, there is this energy of uncertainty that is very thick. Okay, some people can feel it more than others. There is a weirdness, okay, that we can say is present, right? And so, even with that being in the environment, you as a sovereign being, myself as a sovereign being, we still have to ask a question. And that question is, will you hand over your power or will you continue to reclaim your sovereignty? All right. So we can agree the world feels weird. All right. The level of uncertainty is very present. Levels of uncertainty is very present. All right. And so we're going to continue to see stories and messages that will continue to fuel and heighten that weirdness and that uncertainty. And many people are going to be knocked off their throne and they're going to allow their energy to be entangled. They're going to allow themselves to be distracted by that fear. Okay, because really, when you have uncertainty, when you are bothered by uncertainty, when you are bothered by the unknown, that source is fear. It's because you're afraid of it. But let me not get ahead of myself. So we know that the way that religion has gained control in society, and on some level, it does appear that the religious construct and that religious system is crumbling. All right, it's crumbling, but it still has a lot of people in a chokehold. All right, and the way that religion has kept its status, has kept its chokehold, is because of fear. All right. That is the foundation of religion. All right. So we know that's basic, but I needed to throw that out there to continue to set the tone for this episode. So because religion is fueled by fear, that whole system continues to benefit financially. All right. Now, back to what I said at the top of this video. There is uncertainty. There's a feeling of uncertainty that is very thick. Okay, it's a very thick and heavy energy, right? Now, to capitalize on that, you are going to see more people who have some type of celebrity, some level of popularity, people who have some level of influence, whether you see it on YouTube, whether you hear it through a podcast, whether you see it on social media. I don't care where you see it, but you're going to see people who carry some type of influence. All of a sudden, you're going to see these people using religious speak, religious talk, religious words, all right? These people, you have never seen them talk about or even attach themselves to anything remotely religious. But all of a sudden, you're going to see it in ads. You're going to see it in their posts. You're going to see it in their videos. You're going to see it in all of their messaging. You're going to even start seeing symbols. All right. This is regardless of whether or not that individual or those individuals even believe in what they're saying, which is what we see a lot of pastors do. And I'm going to venture off to say that most of the pastors that are still feeding people who come into these churches that they've created, most of those pastors know that their religious speech is bullshit. But because they continue to capitalize on it, and when I say capitalize, it's not all, I'm not just talking about money. All right. We know that these preachers have influence. These preachers are put on a pedestal. They like the power that they have. So when I say capitalize, they are these people that are putting themselves in these places and statuses in religion. They are gaining a lot, or they think they're gaining a lot. They're gaining much more than money, right? So here's what's this is the unfortunate part, because uncertainty is not a problem. Feelings of weirdness, okay, and feelings of not knowing, that's not an issue. It's not a problem at all. But here's what's going to happen. People who have left religion, they have left their church for a more elevated life experience, for a more elevated soul experience. They have detached from religion. They have decided that that anchor of religion can no longer hold them. But because of these so-called influential people now using religious speak, and because of the heightenedness of this uncertainty, unfortunately, people who have freed themselves are going to throw themselves back into the chokehold that is religion. Okay. Now, I want to ask you this question. What does the focus of uncertainty cause when it's approached by fear? Now, I just said, uncertainty is not an issue. The energy of uncertainty is not a problem. All right? No, never. But what does the focus of uncertainty cause when it's approached by fear? So, uncertainty through a fearful lens leads to doubt. Doubt that will bring up the question, did I make the right decision to leave the church? Did I make the right decision to detach myself from this religion that had been the source of my existence for all of these years? Did I make the right decision? Uncertainty through a fearful lens also leads to increased susceptibility to conversations that invoke limitations. That is a mouthful. So let me give you an example. People who have left their religion and they're still surrounded by people who still drink from the religious cup. Okay, fine. And you see they start having these talks about this uncertainty that they see in the government and the environment and climate and all these things. It will cause that person who left their religion to start to be entangled in conversations of limitation. So it's so fascinating to me. And I hear this type of talk from people who are the most religious. They will bring up their God. They will bring up their Bible in a heartbeat. But in the same breath, they will use that same breath to talk in ways that render them powerless to their environment. They will talk about how the government's going to do this, and that to them. I never say this, but this is what I think in my head. I'm thinking, okay, you say you pray, but you're talking about how someone's going to do something to you. Where is your power? And this is what I mean. When you have decided that you are going to walk in your sovereignty and own your divinity, and when you start to look at uncertainty through a fearful lens, then you become entangled. You leave your energy susceptible to talks of limitation like that. No one can do anything to you. You are a sovereign being. What do you say? What do you say about yourself in your life? Okay, so let's keep going through the list. All right. So uncertainty through a fearful lens leads to doubt, increased susceptibility to conversations that invoke limitations, stagnation. What does this mean? You don't make any moves. You don't make any decisions at all because you're afraid. And this ties into religious programming, which teaches you to wait on some God out there to fix everything for you. He will take care of everything. He will take care of it. He will do it. That is religious programming. You become stagnant when you view uncertainty through the lens of fear. All right. Also, uncertainty through a fearful lens leads to spiritual laziness. Reverting back to you. This means you have reverted back to giving your power away, which ties back into the point that I just made about being stagnant and how that is the fruit of the religious programming tree. You become stagnant because you think some God out there is going to handle it for you. So spiritual laziness, you're not thinking, okay, I am the divine. I carry ancient wisdom in my blood. I carry ancient spiritual systems in my blood that has given me power to change my environment, to create what I desire. What can I do? How can I express my divinity more? But when you approach uncertainty through the fearful lens, you become spiritually lazy. You don't do anything. Now, everything that I just mentioned is a domino effect. It's a domino effect of fear. Okay? So, I want to repeat this. I said this earlier. Uncertainty is not the issue. You get to choose through the lens through which you view the uncertainty, okay? Uncertainty through a divine lens, through the lens of sovereignty, is very different. How different is it? Well, let's go through some examples, okay? Uncertainty viewed through your sovereign lens that uncertainty is viewed as opportunity. An opportunity for what? To embrace your creation power. An opportunity for you to embrace that you can transmute the uncertainty. This is where alchemy comes in. I don't call this unleashed alchemy for no reason, right? This is you view uncertainty when you're viewing it through your sovereignty, through your divinity. You view it as an opportunity to move about in the world, not as someone programmed to just follow along, to just accept what life gives you, but to be intentional about what you think, about what you say, which inspires your powerful action. Okay? Also, the next thing is uncertainty viewed through your sovereign being. It increases your awareness of your own divinity. It increases your awareness of your creative power. It increases your awareness of your quantum potential to move beyond the limitations of programming. Okay? Also, when you view uncertainty through your sovereign lens, it builds and increases your reconnection with your spiritual technology, which involves DNA activation to receive downloads and guidance, downloads, and guidance to take inspired action through the uncertainty. So, instead of allowing yourself to become rocked to sleep again by religion, instead of running from uncertainty to go back to something that kept you bound, i.e., religion, you need to choose your sovereignty, and you need to choose it over and over and over and over and over again. All right? That's it. That's what I wanted to tell you today for this message. Now, to help you be in your sovereignty, to hold the space for you, I offer one-on-one sessions. Okay, there's 2 ways that you can work with me one-on-one. You can sign up for a full package, which is 24 sessions, or you can sign up for a one-time 55-minute session with me. All sessions are video. Okay, that's important for you to know. I also have books. I also have, these are ebooks. I also have courses on my website, unleashedalchemy.com. Okay, so go there and be transformed. Okay, continue in your transformation. Do not be tricked and sidetracked by all of these brand new people popping up that are, influencing, or influencers, so-called influencers, semi-celebrity, whatever, that all of a sudden they're just really pushing religion. They're really pushing this religious speak, and allow your intuition, because it's going to be, you're going to notice it. Okay. If you haven't already, it's going to be very apparent. Okay. Because they're going to be very transparent. I'm seeing it, little by little. And I'm not talking about the people that we know that are, they're celebrities, and we know that they're religious. Okay. Some have even, pointed out a religion that they are attached to. I'm not talking about those people. I'm just talking about maybe some people people that you've seen, and they never said anything about religion. But all of a sudden, here we go. All right. And they're only doing it because they know that religion is still profitable, especially during this time. But I am here to tell you, as a sovereign being, stand in your I am power. Stand in your divinity. Do not be swayed. You made the right decision. You felt your soul. You followed your soul to elevation beyond religion. So yes, you made the right decision. If you needed a sign, let this be your sign. You made the right decision to walk away from church. You made the right decision to walk away from your religion, to be elevated in your consciousness, in your body, in your nervous system, in your spirituality, to be elevated in your soul. Yes, you made the right decision. All right. So I'd love to hear what your takeaways are from this episode. And if you're new here, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. And if you're listening through the podcast, hit that follow button. I believe there's a follow button. Anyway, follow this episode, share the episode with those that that can benefit from this message. All right. Until next time, be sovereign.